Hey friend, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Billy Chan and this is the part 2 of Going Beyond the Wall by Seow Keong. The part 2 is about some podcast kind of questions, getting questions from people from the floor, and he's going to explain about his experience and unleash his kind of internal insights of how he get to become an ultra marathoner and completing gorgeous of accomplishment within his true life. And this is what we're going to discuss on the session 2.
Hey, Seow Keong, I truly admire, your courage, your toughness. Even I know you in person, but I never know you've done so much. So my question is, how do you train, your mindset to go through all these races? I read your book, not all, but some of the chapters, and I just amazed what you've gone through. So we'd like to, seek your sharing on mindset toughness.
I don't know whether this kind of mental toughness is inborn, like you are gifted with it. But I believe more in conditioning from childhood. I think every kind of a toughness, whether it's physical toughness or mental toughness, it needs to be trained. It needs to be conditioned. If you come from a tough background, where you go through a lot of hardship during your childhood days, that will really help. Because you are not afraid of toughness. You know that you can laugh. And I told in my book about a story about my mom. I grew up in a rubber estate. I had to work when I was 5 or 6 years old. Helping my parents to take rubber. I can take rubber when I was 9 years old. I was taking rubber already, in Kedah. And then they moved to Singapore to work because the rubber prices were really poor in 1973, 74, when I was like standard 5. Then they left us. We couldn't stay in Singapore. We moved back to Pematang Pao to stay with my uncles. So me and my siblings, we stayed with my uncles. And later on, some years later, I found out that my mother had been working on the construction site as a construction worker. Then I was really, I wouldn't say, I don't know whether I was inspired, but I was thinking that if my mother can do that, I should try to see if I can, take the toughness or not, take the hardship or not. So after my MCE, which is the 0.5, my last year was MCE, after that is the SPM, I purposely went to the construction site and asked for a job. I said, I want to work here. I was wearing glasses. I was the most highly educated construction worker at the time, maybe. And I worked there for 2 months. It was really hard. But I believed that I could do it. Even when I was standard 6, I was already working. So I have this mentality that I want to see if I can take all the tough thing that is thrown at me, and see whether I can deal with it. From very young, I somehow know that we were not from a well-off family, from a humble family, and then, there's a Chinese educated person always think that it's a good trait to have. You can study well, and when you're still poor, you can, So from that mentality, I had it from very young. I remember very clearly. But then, pure mental toughness is not enough if your the body that is holding that mind is not strong enough, because you will just break down. So you still need to condition yourself, physically, to be able to take that hardship. So both need to come hand in hand. You cannot rely on mental toughness. Although we like to say ultra running is all about 90% mental, and then the other 10% is also mental. So I don't know whether I answer your question, but I think just like the African runners, the elite runners, in Kenya, a lot of them come from very hard background. If you read the book, Running with a Kenyan, you'll know that. A lot of them, they really had a lot of hardship during their childhood. Yeah? Walking a long way barefoot, to school and all that thing, and working for long hours, in the field. Yeah? Yeah, I think it takes that. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's for safety reason I should cycle indoor more. But then that's too comfortable. That's too comfortable. It's just like working out in the gym, the air condition. You can have water and then everything like that. Yeah. But that, I think, in a way, sorry to say that, it soften you down. Yeah. You need to take the, hard reality outside. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Seow Keong. Thanks for the sharing. I'm Joseph from Inter Malaysia. So just like mentioned about like going soft, right? Actually, it reminds me of a person. I think he's a finisher in bad water as well, David Goggins. So there's a very strong motto which is stay hard. So I mean that's mindset wise, but I want to know like what's your daily life, like how do you train, or the sleep schedule, your diet, everything that you do on daily basis that can help you strengthen your mind and stuff like that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Joseph. Yeah, to do a tough race like that water, you almost need to write essay. Yeah. Write essay about your background, your experiences. They want to make sure that you have the right background mentally, and that you have done enough tough races. Yeah. So the requirement is, for example, you have to do at least 3 100 miles races before. And that is not a guarantee, that is the minimum requirement. Yeah. So the more you have done, the more likelihood that they will accept you. Yeah. So coming back, so that's, if you have to do all these 100 miles races and finish them, you have to put in all these trainings. Yeah. I'm not the one who sort of like want to sacrifice my lifestyle. I still like to have my sugar, kurang manis, with a coffee, with a, yeah. I would not so totally go sugar free, for example. Yeah. I will skip the sweet stuff maybe. Yeah. But not all the time. Yeah. Because if you train hard enough, you can be good enough to finish this race. Yeah. And of course that requires a bit of talent here and there, but most of the time it's hard work. Yeah. And it's not overly hard. Some people who are performance oriented, who want to do very well in their races, they'll go into like low carb, high fat, that kind of diet. I have these Singaporean runners who really ate these hard-boiled eggs or soft-boiled eggs every day, 8 of them. And then he would not touch those Coke, and all the sweet stuff, during the races, during the training. No carbs at all, no rice at all in his diet, when he's training for this race. So to do a race like that, just give you a guide. If you can do a weekly mileage of 80, 90, that will be good enough. And then you do back-to-back long runs, like back-to-back, like 3 times, in a week, back-to-back 25K, 30K. You do that several times enough, you will be good enough to finish that race. But still, it depends on individuals because the ability level is different. No matter how hard you train, you cannot be as fast as a Kenyan or, So, but to say good enough for that, to complete a certain race, I think that's the minimum requirement. And that doesn't really take out much of your time. If you are just doing that because if you do that in the morning, you can always plan your time. But of course, in a big city where you have to wake up early and travel, a lot of people don't have that luxury. I don't know whether I addressed that, your question enough. I didn't find it particularly taxing. I find that it can be better because maybe I suppose when I first did the ultra, the first ultra I was already like 47 7 years old. I did most of my ultra. My peak was actually after I was 50 years old. I was well established already in my career and also financially. I was in a senior enough position where I do not need to be hands-on on everything. I can delegate to people, and I have a boss. Yeah. So that was kind of a bit late. Yeah. To do ultra. And nowadays, people are doing ultras even in the late 20s or early 30s. When they still are not even married, they haven't got a family, they financially, they may be just building their wealth. For me, I was a bit lucky that I did not have the stress of that. Yeah, I was able to do what I want. Yeah, so from work-wise, no, not so much. Yeah, and I also have a very supportive son, wife, who take care of the kids and all that. In Shanghai. Yeah.
Hey, Seow Keong, when you mentioned about very supportive wife, I want to bring up a question from the chat, from Pei. She asked this: how do you convince your wife to let you join ultra marathon? She said, my husband, so she's the wife, likes to join marathon, but it is very hard for me to approve the passport. Same goes to my sister-in-law. My brother loves joining triathlon, and there would always be in-house war whenever he signed up for the one. Please share.
Perhaps it's my wife who should be answering the question. I think it's a combination. I think firstly, when we first got married, and then we lived in New Zealand, and I was running races, in New Zealand, joining the local running club. My wife was ready with me. When we had the weekend run, she joined in as well. Although she didn't run, she would make the coffee and make herself comfortable, in the winter there. And then when we ran marathon, she always follows me and she's supporting me. So she's used to all that from very early on, seeing me racing, seeing me running. Yeah. And most of the time, it was not like ultra marathons, which takes you away from the house, from the home for a very long time. I've been doing city marathons, 42 kilometers, which finish in the morning, for many years already, for many years. So there's nothing special. So when I took up ultra marathon, it was not like, you are racing every month throughout the year. Yeah. It may seem a lot, if you look at my resume, but it was over many years. Yeah. I think the most intense one will be in 2013, where I did 4 big ultras. And my wife was also coming along to support me in those races. I think it's like sometimes a good vacation. And my son came along as well. So you can make it, it's not like, so how do you approve? Hey, make this a family project. Make this a family vacation. Yeah? You do it together. You plan to do it together. My wife would often pack the things for me. Yeah? And then she washed the dirty clothing, and then she washed the shoes and all that thing. It's part of the family thing. Yeah? So don't be don't be just like, okay, this is your hobby, this is your running, you are not so common, you're not so usual thing. Why should I be bothered with your thing? Yeah? If you love, I'm not saying that you don't love. I have to say you appreciate each other. That if he really likes to do it, or whether he or she, why don't we support them? Make them happy. Yeah. If he or she can be happy, your spouses can be happy, then the whole family will be happy. Even though my wife, she doesn't run, but by supporting me in doing all these things, and also now helping me to organize running events, it's something that we do together. A project that we can do together, and you find much happiness and joy. You have a common language, between yourself. I know sometimes financial consideration is one thing. You sign up for races, Langkawi, Ironman, so expensive, 3,000 ringgit now. How can you spend that kind of money, and then you're going to be away for that long? What happened to us, at home, during the weekend? What do you use up all your leave for your runs, for your races? So there are things like that to consider. Of course, there need to be give and take. So there needs to be balance. We are lucky that financially, by working in China, sort of like being an expatriate, that is not a problem. That helps a lot. So we do not have to worry about those mortgage issue and all that thing. Yeah. That really makes a difference.
And Bunyan asked that any reason why decide to be barefoot again in the latest years?
When I first started running barefoot, I didn't know why I wanted to run barefoot, because it was something that came naturally to me. We were playing basketball in this Pematang Pao, Lei Kiao Primary School, the basketball court. During high school years, we would go to that basketball court, and then just take off our sandals and then we'll play barefoot on the basketball court for many years. So when we organized the first race, it came naturally to us, let's. And then we have an idol. The guy, I have my idol in my book. This young man who stood beside me, he was the first guy who ran barefoot. He would run around the town barefoot. Everybody in the coffee shop would look at him and say, hey, this barefoot runner is running again. So I was inspired by him. We always, but we watched him for 1 year or 2 years, and then we still didn't pick up running. Only until when we organized our first ever race in the small town. So I did not know why I wanted to run barefoot. We ran it because we could do it. So then when I went to New Zealand, I was wearing shoes all the time. Until this year, 2009, when I met a guy called Nge. He was a bald head guy. He was he has passed away. I think he's about a similar age as me. So he and this Dr. Tan, unfortunately, both of them are passed away due to illnesses, to brain and also to cancer. They were the first two who, almost like the first two who ran marathon disables, in Sahara Desert. And I was about to run my first Amazon jungle. So we met up in KL, and then for breakfast, some friends, common mutual friends, introduced us. So we were chatting, and then he was asking me whether I've tried barefoot. I told him about it, and then he said, hey, you should start doing it again. So I went to Singapore to do the Singapore Marathon. I met this guy, Singaporean runner, who tried out the 5 fingers. 5 fingers. And when I was doing, then it was in that, after the breakfast together with the Singaporean runners, we went and buy our first pair of 5 finger shoes. 2009 in December. And when I was in doing Amazon jungle, also in 2009, I heard about this book called Born to Run. You guys should go and get it. It's a best-selling book. It was a phenomenal book. I read it 2 or 3 times. The stories are so touching. But the most inspiring thing is about why we need shoes. Why can't we run barefoot the way we were born to run? Then that triggers the minimalism in me. Okay, I want to use my own body to carry out activities like running. So that's how I went back to minimalist, went back to barefoot running again. And to the point that I was even asked to conduct barefoot running camp. I was called the barefoot master in China. 赤脚大师. So I conducted camps in Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Xi'an, Hong Kong. So there were a lot of theories about why barefoot running is good for you. And so it was kind of a trend in those years. And there are a lot of joys. To this day, I still do barefoot. I would go to do Laksamana, I do trail, barefoot.
So what you eat before you run in the marathon, is it only carbo can be consumed? Another question regarding to food would be, what is the nutrition brand name to use in pre-work, during workout, and after for recovery?
For carbo loading is not easy to do. I think theoretically you almost need to eat only protein stuff, or fat stuff, like a week. 4 or 5 days before the race. You need to empty out whatever, those glycogen or carbo things inside your body. Empty it first before you start to load it with carbo, which is more accessible as a source of energy. If you don't do that, if you still continue to, a bit of carbo, a bit of protein and fats is still the same, it won't be so effective. And so it's not really that easy to use this carbo loading program to help you, for performance purposes. So you just have to say, okay, well, I'll do as much as I can to follow it, but that is not really that helpful as well. I think it's more important that you do your own enough training, to avoid hitting that wall. Then you'll be okay. Of course, there are certain ideal weight that you want to reach before your serious race, that you can do that. Now, that's for normal marathons. We want to have, but our main source of energy is fat. It's not carbo. Carbo, because of our pace, and because we have checkpoint which serve buffet of food, plenty of food to eat, and then plenty of coke to drink, and then we have those sources of energy are easily accessible to us. So we don't worry about carbo. You worry about whether you have enough fat or not when you need them. Because that's more efficient source. Not to say it stores more energy. So we make sure that we are not too lean as well. If we don't have any fat with us, over a long distance, when you are sick of eating the carbo, especially of those gel, power bar and all that thing, energy bar, you feel nauseous, you don't have the appetite for them. So a lot of time we also go for solid food, real food, so-called, whole food during the race, and not those gel things. Then you can last for a long time. But some elites, of course, they go totally on gel, elites, because eating other stuff will slow them down. They cannot afford that. So they train themselves to eat gel only.
Hi, Seow Keong. Okay, I'm Jack. Actually, I'm following some of your event as well. But time to time, I think I got some feedback from my peers and colleagues that they always got the knee injury after the run. So, and also we heard some of the old folks always remind the youngster and said, if you run too much, you will injure your knee eventually when you get old. So, but so far I see you are very fit. I'm not sure whether you have any tricks that we can prevent the knee injury. To prevent the knee injury with joining all this long run and
Okay. The first advice is don't play basketball. Because that's how I injured my knee. I injured my right knee. I tore my ligament. So when I was 30 years old, or 29 years old. And so 29 years old, so it's like 30 years, something years ago, 33 years ago. But despite that knee injury, where I tore my cruciate ligament, my left knee is totally good, even after running for 40 years. And even after having to compensate for my injured right leg. So what does that tell you? It tells you that running doesn't hurt your knee really, if you do it rightly. And how to do it rightly is to make sure that you don't just run. You need to work on the muscles surrounding your knee. It needs to be flexible. It needs to be strong. It cannot be too tight. A lot of runners, we don't do that. A lot of us, we just run, we finish, we don't do stretching. We don't do this loosening. So, and we sit around for the whole day. So our hips, our glutes, our hamstrings are tight. And you get injured. Because you are not using your muscle to absorb the impact of your landing. All the muscles on the lower part of your body, you should engage them to take the impact, to absorb the impact, so that your knee will take less impact. So why still, after 40 years, my left knee is still good? I can still do raises. So you do lunges, you do various kind of different exercises to keep your quads in shape. You keep your hamstring strong. Hamstring need to be strong. So you and also need to be flexible, nimble. So you as long as these muscles are not tight, and as long as you engage all of them, that's why you need to do warm up, right? You need to warm up your body, your legs, so that they got activated, they get engaged, so that it's not the knee that is only taking the impact. Then you don't have any problem, And after 40 years, I'm still okay, if not because of my right knee.
So so just now you touched the point about the knee as well. So actually, the longest I ran, it was a half marathon, Penang Bridge, and during that time I injured my right knee, right? So I'm not sure, should I push myself to that? That was like maybe 10 years ago lah. So now my knee is a bit it's better, but it's still there's some pain caused by other things. But so my question is like, should I try to push myself for a full marathon? Is it worth to train myself up and go for a full marathon? What is your recommendation?
Okay, thank you for the question. Are you pushing yourself doing 10K?
So during that time, actually, I wasn't really trained for it. It was kind of a last minute thing. I only did some training where I ran for like 1 hour continuous for a few times before the race. So because I wasn't training for long duration, I injured my knee because of inflammation. It was too much rubbing against the knee and caused inflammation. So
I think you need to work gradually towards that goal. There's a saying about too much, too soon, too fast. That's how you will get injured. So everything is in the training. So if your preparation is not enough, if it is not in the training, then you are not ready to do a full marathon. So only when you can feel yourself doing 10K comfortably, 21K comfortably without pain, then you can think about full marathon. I think the important thing is to when you get injured, you only wish yourself to be able to run even 5K. You'll be so happy you can run pain-free, for 5 kilometers. So I think that should be the goal that you should be working on first before you take on a full marathon, because it's, as I always say, it's only a hobby. You don't take it too seriously, although it sounds strange from coming out from me. Don't take it so seriously, but after all, you have to do all this healthily. But everyone get injured because we did not know. So we should learn from our mistake. We should learn from our lesson, and then make sure that we can most of the time run pain-free, and continue to enjoy being active. So I would say when you're ready, you look at your program, try to adjust them to your physical condition, and gradually you move upwards. When your mileage is enough, when you're ready, then you take on a full marathon.
Yeah. Hey, Seow Keong, Asaf here. My question is actually, I read the section on the Amazon jungle that you ran, where you have to cross the dark zone, right? And then you have to, I guess you have to, I read is that you have to run across, and then you have hornets, coming after you, and then the runner before last year was stung by the hornets and didn't finish the race. And then he tried again this year with you together. So my question is, how do you train for all these things with jaguar in front, hornets waiting to sting you? How do you, get through all this, that's what's coming?
I don't know if you actually can train for it. You purposely look for those places with hornets and look for Malaysian tiger, just to simulate as Brazilian jaguars. It took me a while to sign up for this race. I was thinking, I had a few sleepless nights, and my wife probably didn't know, but I just kept it to myself. I was thinking, imagining it, running in this dark zone that they talk about, running at night in Amazon jungle, because I haven't been to Brazil before. And I knew that a Korean actually got lost during the race in the previous year, and he was safe. So you have all this imagination, try to imagine how it is like in the Amazon jungle. And then it only took me after a few nights that I thought, okay, this is not the first edition. This is probably the 5th or 6th edition of the race. And so far, everyone's okay. They came out okay. Nobody really got seriously injured or died from this race. Although a guy did die in this marathon des Sables, he died in a tent, and then, when I was doing the North Pole, after I did the North Pole immediately after this marathon des Sables, I just sidetracked a bit. So there's a Scottish runner, Andrew. He also ran that race, and then he flew to North Pole, and then I asked him about this French runner who died in the tent while resting in the tent. So his immediate answer was, didn't kill him. That's a joke, so it is, and then when the organizer in the race briefing, they were showing all these pictures, of the pythons, of of the hornets, of jaguar, and all these different kind of animals that, maybe, you may encounter, during the race, and of course, most of them are just scaring you off, just to be careful. We didn't actually got bitten by the piranha, even when we were in a swampy area. So somehow, I always have this thinking that, if everyone else has said before, it should be okay. Just like when I did the New York Marathon, in November 2001. That was 2 months after the September 11 incident, if you can remember. So my wife was saying that, whether we should go to New York to run New York City Marathon. To me, if there are flights, into New York, then it should be okay. A lot of Europeans did not go. They canceled. The Europeans did not want to go to me. I was flying in from London, after attending my graduation ceremony for my MBA in London. So we flew in from there, and we went through all the tight security and all that thing. So after several of these experiences, I know that as long as previous people are okay, then it should be okay. And a lot of times, it's easier than you imagine. It's not as tough as you think. And although, like this Roy, he got stung by the hornets the first year very badly. The second year, he was not stung so badly, but physically he could not keep up with the race. It was not tough. I mean, he wasn't tough. He could not last the whole thing. And then he gave up. And then he said one thing: it's okay. This race doesn't define me. I'm more than just this day's race. Whether I finish or not doesn't define me as a failure or what. Which is true. Which is the right attitude to do. So that's how I look at DNF as well. We are more than just one race. We are just more than just one failure, because we have made many starts before. That itself defines us, right?
How did you feel after finishing the book?
Well, they say, writing a book, publishing a book, is like becoming a parent again. Have a child, another child is born. The purpose of writing this book, of course, on the one hand, is relief. You don't have to spend so many hours of crafting these things here, and then you're now seeing the outcome of your labor of love, yeah, coming out in the form of a book, yeah, and you see your life, your experiences being crystallized in the book. One of the purpose of writing a book is to share those experiences, you know, with those people who have not had the fortune, yeah, opportunity, yeah, of the blessing, yeah, to travel to so many different kind of exotic locations, to run. How many people go to North Pole, yeah, during their weekend? And Antarctic, or Sahara Desert, or Amazon jungle, or Alps, or Gobi Desert, and maybe a few may go. But to have one person who has gone to so many of these, and to have the means, you know, and the thought, yeah, to experience so much, yeah, I feel that this experience needs to be shared. And then some people may say, hey, you know, you can do it because you are rich, yeah. But after reading my stories, you will know that I was not rich. How did I become what I am? Because I was willing to overcome so-called the walls, you know, in my life from very earlier on. I was willing to work, you know, when I was in primary, secondary. I was willing to change location, yeah, from Malaysia to New Zealand, because I was curious enough to want to experience life, want to find out more. And also to go to China in 1993, which was a time when not many people want to suffer the hardship, you know, of living in China. You know, we survive on my wife, our allowance, renminbi 800, yeah, in those years, yeah, for the whole family, yeah, which is like 400, yeah, Malaysian ringgit, yeah. Of course, the cost of living was not that high at the time, but it was not a. But through the years, you know, our fortune changed, you know, our job changed, our income improved, yeah. But to take the step to say, let's go there, you know, for 3 years, it turned to 21 years, yeah. So it's to like a trailblazer. Nobody has done it before. You have nobody to ask, to consult, yeah. Just like forming a Malaysia Ultrarunner Association. From nothing, you create something. Yeah. If you are happy all the time within your comfort zone, you remain in your comfort zone, and you will not be creating something new. You will not be able to blaze a new trail, not for the sole purpose of blazing a trail, but it's to enrich your life, yeah, to fulfill your potential. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm conscious of those barriers that within me, yeah, and I know that I need to overcome them. Yeah, and most of the time you find that, as I always say again, you can overcome them. You can go beyond them. Yeah. We have the family, financial walls. You know, when you're building a career, you don't have so much time. You have kids. You know, you need to have some time for them. All these, you know, are the things that are restricting you, limiting you. Yeah. You have to be a responsible person. You need to do it responsibly, you know, within a reasonable. You get to take care of your family, of your career, you know, and everything. But at the end, you also need to take care of your needs. Yeah. So it's a question of balancing. Yeah. But still moving forward.
Very here. I'm seeing here wearing the smartwatches, so I guess that one is Garmin. So one of the features in Garmin is VO2. So from my understanding, if for those endurance people who do the sport for endurance, VO2 will be dropped if you keep on continue doing the sport, right? So for endurance, in your case, do you believe in using the VO2 as a measurement for your daily training, or you don't care? You just go for endurance for all the days?
You are talking about VO2 max, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think that's indicators of your fitness, which is important, especially if you are very focused, you know, on speed for road distance. But actually, VO2 max is, yeah, because it's measured from your heart rate and how much intensity you put on it. Yeah. So the harder is your workout, yeah, and and then you can stand it for a longer duration. Your VO2 max will improve. Yeah, I think it's a good indicator. Yeah, for this kind of a training, very focused on the speed and fitness. Yeah, although I don't look at this that much. As long as you do your workout, because in ultra, it's longer distances, your heart rate doesn't go that much higher. Yeah, it's a duration. Yeah, so you can have your low heart rate, 120 for a long, long time. Yeah, and you can still keep moving. You have a longer time on your feet. Yeah, so VO2 max doesn't measure everything. Yeah, but having a good indicator does indicate your performance, your fitness level, which of course help in your performance. Yeah.
Say hi. May I ask what is so interesting about running that inspired you to run for many years? Thank you.
Running is supposed to be boring, right? To most people. Yeah. Firstly, our body, will produce this kind of what we call the endorphin, 肾上腺素, which will makes you feel happy, high, on top of the world. When you finish your run, when you drive home, you feel that today you have a great day. It keep you happy. Yeah. And then for those people who are so-called addicted to running, a day is not complete, a week is not complete without a run, without a workout, without a sweat out and all that thing. Yeah. And for those people who are not doing sports, it's probably hard for you to comprehend. Yeah. Some people like to be competitive. Some people feel the thrill of the speed. When you are moving your body, your legs so high, so fast, so speed, with every increment of your speed, you feel happy, you feel high. Yeah? Oh, today I'm faster. Yeah. So you really feel happy. Your world is surrounded by all these things. Yeah. Running, my program. Yeah. Tomorrow I'm going to do hill repeat. Tomorrow is a long run, and during the weekend, and then I have the interval session and all that thing. You all plan out. Your life is somehow quite structured. Yeah. The things that you focus on in your daily life will be all running related. The people that you take photos with, before the race, after the race, during the race, they are all. You had a good time with these people. It's not only yourself doing the running. Yeah, you have a community with you. Yeah, that's your social life. Yeah, that keeps you grounded. Yeah, that keeps you to sort of like your identity as who are you. I'm not just an accountant. I'm also a runner. Yeah. So that sense of identity is important for us as a person. Yeah. Besides the endorphin stuff. Yeah. And then of course, for me, is how far I can run. Yeah. How far I can run. Yeah. The highest. Whether I can take the cold. It's a curiosity to find out how much your body can take. Yeah. I know some people say, why is that important? Yeah, it's hardship, it's suffering. Why do I want to do that? Yeah. So that's a very individual. Yeah, kind of a preference. And when I think that I might be the only few in the world who wants to go through all that thing, then I find that hey, I have not been alone. Otherwise, why would all these ultra races keep coming up? Why do people sign up for my races? Why do they say, no, this is too tough. I'm going to stop running after this race. I'm not going to sign up for any races in the future. Okay, 3 days later, they start looking for, what race to go for and all that thing. So those people are familiar with this. You feel sense of achievement. You think of something higher because we do have these needs, as a human being, to go for greater challenges and all that thing. So, and also, not listening to music during your run is also not boring, because you can also appreciate the nature. You can listen to your body to see how it feels and all that. There's a lot of joy in running. Yeah. So when people ask me why do I run, because I enjoy the running. Even the act itself of running itself is enjoyable. Yeah. Only people wonder why do you persist in running? 你为什么要坚持跑步? To me, it's not a 坚持, it's not a perseverance. It's enjoyment. You have to love it, so that you can carry on day after day. Yeah.
Would you share with the people online if they want to find more about you or find more about your crazy races, how they do that, please?
Okay, my Facebook page is of course open, it's public, so you can find me there, by my name Seow Keong. And as for the races that I organize, you can go to our Facebook page as well, Endurance Nature, or the Facebook page of the races that I organize, or to go to our website, endurancanature.com.my. You can see those races that I organize. And why do I want to organize races? Why am I not happy with just being a runner? Yeah, because again, being a curious person, I always wonder how I can create a race which is iconic, which has international appeal, which is classic. How do I do that? How do I create that? How do I maintain that? Yeah. So behind the scene, what are the works needs to be done? So yeah, I want to know the complete picture about running, not only being a runner. Yeah. Thank you, Billy, again for the invitation to this book club, and I have the opportunity to share with everyone. I have an ex-neighbor who are living in KL who just bought my book, and then I told him I was inspired by him, and he was so touched by what I said to him that he wrote a long piece on Facebook last night. Albion. He used to be quite an obese guy. And then after seeing me, we were neighbors. I work out in the gym quite a lot. So he saw me working out in the gym, swimming and running on the treadmill. And he decided to lose weight. He lost 40 kilos in a year. Yeah. There was many times he said in that post, he said so many times he wanted to give up. But when he looked out his window, in the morning he saw me running in a gym. He saw my smiling faces, came down to the gym and hear my story. He got inspired, and he has never looked back since. He's down 40 kilos, lighter, slimmer. So I suppose there are other stories around. We all inspired by each other. He inspired me for his determination to do that. It's not easy. So everybody who goes out and do a 5K, they inspire me because it's out of their comfort zone and they are determined to do it. That's not easy itself. Okay, thank you very much.
That is it for the amazing sharing from Seow Keong. If you like video like this, do remember to check out some book club recommendation, authors insight that we have had, and do like and subscribe to us because we are going to bring you more values and we are going to bring you more book club sharing just like this every single month. Alright, happy learning and see you again. Bye bye.